a strict diet program that slowly leads to a terrifying human flesh feast. The film begins by showing a girl named Simi, who has just arrived at the home of her aunt Claudia. Simi is a girl with a body size that can be considered large, and because her body is not ideal, she is often mocked at school, which makes her feel very sad and lack self-confidence. Since Simi is currently on a school holiday, she decides to visit her aunt, who is a chef. Simi's real purpose in coming to Claudia's house is to ask for help in losing weight, as Claudia, being a chef, understands how to measure proper nutrition for people who want to slim down. Simi plans to stay at Claudia's house until Easter arrives. Claudia lives in a house located in a remote area far from residential neighborhoods, together with her second husband, Stefan, and her son, Philip. Claudia has divorced her first husband, and custody of Philip was granted to her, after which she moved into that house with Stefan and Philip. In the past, besides being active as a chef, Claudia also wrote books about nutrition and dietary science. Claudia then shows Simi to Philip's bedroom, where Simi will be sleeping in the same room as him during her stay.
Ja, ich habe euch so lange nicht mehr gesehen seit...
Na, mit deiner Mama ist ausgemacht Karfreitag. Was hast du da alles eingepackt für...
When dinner time comes, Claudia invites Simi, Philip, and Stefan to gather in the dining room. But strangely, she only serves food for Simi and Philip. Claudia then explains that she and Stefan are fasting and will only drink water until Easter.
Danke, Mama.
Tschüss. Wir essen nichts. Vor Ostern ist fast...
Because it is already late at night, Simi goes to sleep. The next morning, Simi starts her exercise routine by running around Claudia's house, and not far from the house, she discovers a pile of wood that seems to be prepared for a giant bonfire. Curious, Simi approaches it and finds a bag containing snacks and clothes hidden between the logs, though she does not know who put it there, and she soon decides not to think about it and goes home. After finishing her exercise, Simi takes a shower, and while changing clothes, she is surprised to see Claudia organizing her belongings into the wardrobe. Inside Simi's suitcase, Claudia finds a book about nutritional management written by Claudia herself, and she realizes that Simi actually came to ask for help in arranging her diet to lose weight. From the beginning, Simi had deliberately not told Claudia her true purpose because she was very embarrassed to ask for help. Even after knowing the real reason, Claudia refuses Simi's request because she is busy working on her newest book. As days pass, night eventually comes, and since the afternoon, Philip has not returned home, which makes Claudia very worried about him. Claudia tells Simi that Philip has still not come back, and Simi suddenly remembers the bag of snacks she saw near the pile of wood and thinks it might belong to Philip and that he could be around there. Claudia and Stefan immediately go to the area near the woodpile to look for Philip, and not long after, they manage to find him there. Thanks to Simi's help, Philip is found safely, and as a reward for helping search for him, Claudia finally agrees to help Simi lose weight. Claudia promises to use all of her abilities to regulate Simi's daily diet and explains that there is one condition Simi must obey, which is that she is not allowed to break any of the rules set by Claudia, because if Simi is caught violating them, Claudia will stop helping her and send her back home. In the initial stage of the diet, Claudia requires Simi to fast until Easter so that her body will use stored fat as its energy source. Simi is quite shocked by this rule because she is not used to fasting, but for the sake of achieving an ideal body weight, she agrees. That night, Simi is not given any food and only Philip eats, while Simi is only allowed to drink water to ease her hunger.
Bekomme ich was anderes?
Nix. Sonntag.
Bis Sonntag?
Und wie lang?
When she is about to sleep, Simi is horrified to find a dead rat on her bed, which turns out to have been placed there by Philip, who dislikes Simi's presence in the house and deliberately tries to disturb her so that she will leave. Feeling disgusted and unable to sleep on the contaminated bed, Simi chooses to sleep in the living room. The next morning at breakfast, Simi feels extremely hungry when she sees Philip eating heartily, but because she is on a diet, she can only drink water to hold back her hunger. She then spends her time reading Claudia's book, until Claudia suddenly asks her to go to her room after finding a chocolate wrapper inside Simi's suitcase. Claudia assumes that Simi has eaten chocolate and believes she is not serious about the diet, even though in reality, Simi did not eat it. Simi explains that the wrapper was likely put there by Philip, who clearly wants her to get scolded by Claudia because he hates her. Simi begs Claudia not to stop the diet program, and this time Claudia forgives her, hoping that Simi will take the program seriously so her help will not be in vain.
Wenn du es nicht ernst nimmst, dann breche ich ab.
Nein, bitte, ich tue alles, was du sagst.
Was du isst, wird ein Teil von dir, Simi.
At dinner time, Simi is shocked to see bruises around Philip's eyes that look as if he has been beaten, and when she asks what happened, Stefan claims that Philip got them from falling, a statement Simi does not fully believe because the bruises clearly resemble punch marks.
Lieblingsessen.
While Claudia is weighing Simi, Simi tells her that the bruises on Philip's face do not look like the result of a fall, but rather that Stefan might have hit him, yet Claudia insists that Stefan loves Philip very much and would never abuse him.
Kann es sein, dass der Philipp gar nicht
Ich weiß, das merkt man nicht immer, aber das Steffen krabt.
Later, Simi takes a pillow and blanket to sleep in the living room again, but Claudia forbids her from doing so because she is focusing on research for her new book, which will discuss eating habits inspired by ancient cultures, a unique theme that makes Simi curious, and Claudia promises to show it to her once it is published.
Worum geht's denn?
Du möchtest ja wohl in einem richtigen Bett schlafen.
Simi then goes back to sleep in Philip's room, and the next day, Claudia asks Philip to go hunting with Stefan. Philip initially refuses because he dislikes Stefan, but Claudia keeps forcing him, and Simi, knowing that Philip is afraid of Stefan, decides to join them because she worries that Stefan will mistreat Philip if they go alone. Eventually, the three of them go hunting, during which Philip shoots a rabbit but does not kill it instantly, and Stefan orders him to finish it off so it will not suffer. Philip is too frightened to kill the injured rabbit, which enrages Stefan and causes him to yell at Philip, making it clear that Stefan deeply dislikes him. So feeling sorry for Philip, Simi steps in and kills the rabbit herself. After returning home, Stefan asks Simi to help him remove the fur from the rabbit meat, and once she finishes helping, Simi immediately goes back to the bedroom to apologize to Philip.
Nicht, du fette Kuh.
Philip then opens up to Simi about how badly Stefan treats him, and he also says that ever since Claudia married Stefan, Claudia's attitude has changed. Although on the surface, Claudia appears to love Philip, he has a bad feeling that Claudia actually wants to hurt him. Before moving to that remote place, Philip had many friends at school, but every time he made friends, Claudia would move them to another distant place, as if she were deliberately isolating him from social life. Because of this, Philip has tried to run away many times, but none of his attempts have ever succeeded, and he cannot imagine what will happen to him if he continues living in that house. Even after hearing Philip's story, Simi does not immediately believe him because she thinks Claudia is a good person and would never do something cruel to her own child. And feeling offended by Philip's accusations against Claudia, Simi reports everything to Claudia. Simi tells Claudia that Philip is afraid of her and suspects that she may hurt him in the future. And with a sad expression, Claudia explains that Philip actually suffers from a dual personality and paranoia, which is marked by occasional aggressive behavior. According to Claudia, this condition forced her to pull Philip out of school and isolate themselves in a remote area, and her explanation sounds reasonable to Simi, making her believe what Claudia says.
waren die letzten Jahre. Die Lehrer haben mich darum gebeten, ich wollte es nicht. Das ist doch das Wichtigste auf der Welt.
For several days now, Simi has not eaten anything at all, and although she is extremely hungry and tempted to eat the bread on the table, her determination to lose weight stops her from doing so. While in the kitchen, Simi sees Claudia burying something in the backyard, and secretly, she checks the mound of soil to see what it is, only to discover a voodoo doll and a photo of Philip buried there. This discovery leaves Simi confused and terrified, and she starts to believe what Philip said about Claudia hating him and planning to hurt him. Afraid that something bad might happen to her as well, Simi decides to call her mother and plans to return home before Easter, believing that if she stays any longer, Claudia will hurt her too. Suddenly, Claudia appears and secretly listens to Simi's conversation with her mother, and shortly after that, Simi realizes that her phone is missing. She asks Claudia about it, but Claudia claims she does not know where it is. And while Claudia and Stefan are busy, Simi takes the opportunity to search every corner of the house, convinced that her phone was hidden so she could not leave. While searching Claudia's room, Simi finds a notebook containing notes and important research data for Claudia's new book. And when she reads it, she is shocked to learn that the research is related to cannibalism, derived from ancient eating customs in which people consume the flesh of their own family members to become one with them. This discovery convinces Simi that Claudia is a cannibal and that everything Philip said was true. And after learning the truth, Simi resolves to leave the house as soon as possible. However, her plan is not easy because the gate is always locked at night and Stefan keeps the key. And although Simi tries to persuade Philip to escape together, Philip insists that Claudia and Stefan have tightened security so that neither of them can run away. When dinner time arrives, Simi finally gathers the courage to be honest with Claudia about her desire to stop the diet, explaining that she can no longer endure the hunger, but Claudia refuses to give her any food and instead forces her to hold on a little longer until Easter. Feeling sorry for Simi, Philip offers her his own food and angrily confronts Claudia, criticizing her strict rules that have made Simi suffer, and he even mocks Claudia's books, saying they are nothing but nonsense and no longer sell. Overcome with rage and unable to control herself, Claudia slaps Philip.
Blöden Regeln. Das denkst du dir doch alles.
Hey, jetzt endlich auf der Mutter!
After dinner, Simi secretly plans to steal the gate key so she and Philip can escape, and her plan succeeds, leaving her only waiting for the right moment. She informs Philip that she has managed to take the key, and together they agree to run away at 6 in the morning, then go to sleep to rest.
Wir gehen 6 los, okay?
However, when Simi wakes up, she is shocked to see that it's already 8 in the morning and Philip is gone from his bed, indicating that he escaped alone without her. Shortly afterwards, Stefan tells Simi that Philip has gone to another city with his biological father, and still determined to leave, Simi asks Stefan to take her home immediately, which he agrees to do, telling her to pack her belongings. While packing, Simi finds her phone mysteriously returned to the wardrobe and immediately messages Philip to ask why he left without her. But Philip responds by mocking her and sending a photo of his middle finger, making Simi furious. Since Philip's departure, Claudia appears deeply saddened, and she approaches Simi to apologize for her behavior the previous day, also allowing Simi to stop the diet if she cannot continue. Seeing Claudia's sorrowful expression, Simi feels unable to leave her and decides to stay longer to finish the diet.
So anders überlegt.
Also wenn du wirklich da bleibst, dann musst du es bitte ernst nehmen.
That night, Claudia prepares a grand Easter dinner to celebrate both the holiday and their first meal after days of fasting, with the table neatly arranged and surrounded by burning torches that create a warm atmosphere.
Ich hab dir eine Bluse aufs Bett gelegt, die könnte passen.
Claudia, Stefan, and Simi eat together, enjoying the delicious meat cooked tender and soft, and afterward, Simi goes to bed. But despite completing the diet, she feels uneasy and cannot sleep well. She then finds the knife Philip always carried under the bed and sends him a message, but he does not reply, though earlier he had sent a photo of his hand in which Simi now realizes Stefan's meat axe is visible. This makes Simi suspect that Philip never actually left the house, so she goes to the place where Stefan usually cuts meat and is horrified to find Philip's dismembered body there. It is revealed that the meat eaten by Simi, Claudia, and Stefan was Philip's flesh, as Claudia and Stefan believe that by consuming him, Philip will live inside them forever. This revelation is impossible for Simi to accept, and she is overwhelmed with regret for ever believing Philip had abandoned her. Stefan soon arrives and tells her to stay calm, claiming everything was done for Philip's own good, but Simi, enraged, stabs Stefan with Philip's knife and immediately runs away when she sees a chance to escape. Unfortunately, Claudia and Stefan refuse to let her go, and Simi runs as fast as she can until she reaches the woodpile and hides inside it. Claudia soon follows and demands Simi come out. But when Simi refuses, Claudia pours gasoline on the woodpile, intending to burn her alive to silence her, only for it to be revealed as a trap set by Simi, who seizes the moment to douse Claudia with gasoline and burn her alive instead. In the final scene, morning arrives as Simi approaches the weakened Stefan, who dies from blood loss, leaving Simi as the sole survivor as the story comes to an end.